A photograph from 1944 shows a group of soldiers taking a rare moment of rest amid the brutal chaos of World War II. At first glance, the image appears ordinary. Weary men in uniform sitting casually, some smiling faintly, others lost in thought. This moment of calm stands in stark contrast to the violence raging around them, a brief respite from the endless battles and hardships. But if you look closer, the background reveals something unexpected. A ghostly outline, faint and blurry, barely visible but unmistakably there. This apparition went unnoticed for over 70 years, hidden in the shadows of a forgotten war photograph, now brought to light for the first time. The photograph was taken in northern France, shortly after the Allied forces had stormed the beaches on D-Day. It captures soldiers stationed near the front lines, exhausted but resilient, caught between the terror of combat and the hope for victory. In those dark days, photography was more than a way to record events. It was a lifeline to humanity. These pictures preserved moments of friendship, fear, and fleeting joy, frozen forever on fragile black and white film. They gave soldiers and their families something tangible to hold on to, a reminder of life beyond the gunfire and destruction. This particular photo resurfaced recently in a family archive, tucked away in an old box of war memorabilia. Passed down through generations, it was cherished for its connection to a grandfather who had fought bravely in the war. No one had ever noticed the strange figure in the background, a shadowy shape that resembled a ghost, blurred and half-hidden behind trees and ruins. At first, it seemed like a trick of light or a flaw in the film, but experts and historians who examined the image were puzzled. The outline was too distinct, too deliberate to be mere chance. What could this mysterious figure represent? Was it a lost soldier caught on camera after death? A spirit lingering among the living? Or was it something else entirely? A symbol of the countless unseen tragedies that marked the war? This haunting discovery invites us to question what lies beneath the surface of history's photographs. As we explore the story behind this image, the lives of the men it depicts, and the eerie presence in the shadows, we are drawn into a chilling tale where fact and the supernatural intertwine. The photograph captures a rare moment of quiet among soldiers during one of the darkest chapters of history. The men sit and stand in relaxed poses, their uniforms dusty and worn from months of hardship. Helmets rest casually on laps or nearby crates, and rifles lean against a battered wall, set aside for a short while. Their faces tell a story of exhaustion, hardened by battle yet softened by brief camaraderie. Some share faint smiles, a subtle sign of hope and solidarity despite the grim reality surrounding them. One soldier lights a cigarette, while another gazes into the distance, lost in thought. The scene is intimate, a snapshot of humanity amid destruction. Behind them stretches a war-torn village, reduced to rubble from relentless bombings. Cracked walls and shattered windows frame the background, with piles of debris scattered across uneven cobblestones. A few leafless trees stand like silent sentinels, their branches scraping the gray sky. Smoke still lingers faintly in the air, a reminder of recent fighting. The ground beneath the soldiers' feet is a muddy mix of earth and ash, scarred by trenches and shell craters. Despite this devastation, the men find a fleeting moment to rest, their presence a testament to survival amid chaos. This fragile piece contrasts starkly with the war that rages just beyond the village's borders. For years, this photograph was stored among hundreds of wartime images, seen as just another ordinary record of life on the front lines. Family members passed it down, proud of their ancestors' service but unaware of any deeper story. The soldiers' identities were known only to a few: Private James Carter, a young farm boy from England; Corporal André Moreau, a seasoned French fighter; and Sergeant William Bill Thompson, a veteran who had seen combat in North Africa. Each man carried his own past, hopes, and fears. The photo freezes a moment where their paths crossed, a brief pause between battles. It captures their humanity, a stark contrast to the violence and uncertainty that defined their everyday lives. The ghostly outline in the background remained unnoticed for decades until a curious relative of one of the soldiers, sorting through old family albums, decided to enlarge the photo. As the image grew clearer on screen, a faint figure emerged. A vague silhouette standing just behind the group, partially obscured by the crumbling wall. At first, it looked like a trick of shadow or a blur from the camera lens. But upon closer inspection, the shape seemed oddly human, perhaps a face or a figure draped in the tattered remains of a uniform. It was indistinct yet unmistakably present. The discovery sparked disbelief among family members, skepticism among historians, and curiosity among paranormal enthusiasts. What was this figure? How had it escaped notice for so long? The initial reactions varied wildly. Some dismissed it as a photographic anomaly, a quirk of old cameras or damaged film. Others wondered if it could be a soldier who had been forgotten by history, someone who had lingered too long in the place of battle, caught unknowingly on film. A few whispered of spirits, of war ghosts forever bound to the site where they fell. The photograph suddenly transformed from a simple wartime memento into a mystery, drawing attention far beyond the family circle. As more experts studied the image, the enigma deepened. What was meant to be a quiet moment frozen in time had become a haunting puzzle, begging for answers that might never come. When the ghostly outline was first noticed, experts and photography enthusiasts were invited to examine the photograph with fresh eyes and modern technology. The initial step was to confirm the photo's authenticity. No digital manipulation or tampering could be found. This was not a modern fake, but an original image, developed decades ago under wartime conditions. Forensic photo analysts employed simple yet effective techniques, enlarging the image to reveal details invisible to the naked eye, adjusting contrast and brightness to highlight faint shapes, and scrutinizing shadows and light patterns to understand what the camera truly captured. These careful examinations only deepened the mystery. The ghostly figure was neither a camera flaw nor a stain on the film. It appeared to be a real presence caught by chance in the frame. Historical researchers then took on the task of tracing the photograph's origin. Using clues from the soldiers' uniforms, the architecture, and the landscape, they narrowed the location down to a small village near the Normandy coast, liberated in late 1944. Military records helped identify several soldiers known to be in the area at the time, matching the faces visible in the photo. Attempts were made to find witnesses or survivors who could remember that moment, but with so many years past, direct testimony was scarce. Meanwhile, locals told tales of strange sightings, shadowy figures glimpsed near the ruins, fleeting shapes at dusk that vanished when approached. These legends, passed down quietly by villagers, hinted at something lingering long after the fighting ceased, a spiritual residue of the war's violence. Digging deeper into the personal histories of the men in the photo revealed poignant insights. Letters and diaries from the unit painted a vivid picture of their experience, not just of combat, but of fear, hope, and brotherhood. One letter mentioned a soldier's restless nights, haunted by someone watching near the perimeter. Another memoir recounted an eerie evening when a shadowy figure was seen walking silently among the trenches, never spoken of openly but remembered with unease. These intimate accounts gave the ghostly outline a human dimension, connecting it to the emotional toll the war took on those who lived it. It was not just a shape in the background, but a symbol of unseen burdens carried by the men who fought and survived. Theories about the ghostly figure emerged from both experts and enthusiasts alike. Some believed it was the spirit of a fallen comrade, unable to leave the place where he died, forever watching over his brothers in arms. Others speculated it might be the apparition of a civilian caught in the crossfire, whose story was lost in the chaos. There were also psychological interpretations. The figure could be a manifestation of collective trauma, an imprint of the death and destruction embedded in the very fabric of the battlefield. On the skeptical side, some argued it was simply a photographic anomaly, a double exposure, a trick of light, or damage to the negative. Yet, no theory fully explained the figure's distinct shape and placement, leaving the mystery open-ended and haunting. Each theory carried its own weight, shaped by the perspective of those who pondered the image. To believers, the figure was a reminder that war's cost extends beyond physical wounds. It lingers in memories, spirits, and history itself. To skeptics, it was a fascinating example of how our minds seek meaning in shadows and light, especially in photographs tied to tragic events. What was undeniable, however, was the photograph's power to evoke emotion and curiosity, urging us to look deeper into moments frozen in time and to question what truths might be hidden just beyond our vision. As the investigation continued, technology played a crucial role in revealing even finer details of the photograph. Digital enhancements allowed experts to isolate the ghostly outline from the background noise, increasing clarity without altering the original image's integrity. Shadows were analyzed to understand the light sources at the time the photo was taken, confirming that the figure's shape did not match any known object or soldier's shadow. This deepened the mystery. If it was not a trick of light or an object, what exactly had the camera captured? Meanwhile, interviews with descendants of the soldiers uncovered old stories that had been whispered but never widely shared. Tales of unexplained sounds, fleeting glimpses of figures on the battlefield, and a shared feeling among the men that something unseen had been present with them during those tense days. Meanwhile, local folklore added another layer to the story. Villagers recalled stories passed down from their grandparents about the Watchers, spirits believed to linger where great suffering had occurred. These entities were said to appear near ruined homes and battlefields, sometimes as faint outlines or shadowy shapes, especially on misty mornings or cold evenings. Although these tales were dismissed by some as superstition, their presence in the community's collective memory suggested that the ghostly outline in the photograph might be part of a larger pattern of unexplained phenomena. Such legends gave the image a haunting cultural context, bridging the gap between history and myth. Whether fact or folklore, these stories reminded everyone that the scars of war are often deeper and more mysterious than history books can tell. After the photograph was taken, the fates of the soldiers in the frame became a haunting echo of the war's cruel unpredictability. Some of the men continued to fight bravely through the grueling final months of 1944, while others never made it out of that shattered village. Private James Carter was reported missing just days later during a sudden German counterattack. His body never recovered. Corporal André Moreau survived longer but succumbed to injuries sustained in a skirmish weeks afterward. Sergeant William Thompson lived to tell the tale but carried scars, both physical and mental, for the rest of his life. The photograph, once a simple keepsake, became a silent testament to their bravery and sacrifice, frozen in a moment that would soon vanish into history. This knowledge added weight to the ghostly figure looming in the background, as if it were the spirit of one of those lost souls forever watching over his fallen comrades. In a breakthrough that sent chills through historians and family members alike, researchers uncovered a surprising connection between the ghostly outline and a soldier who had gone missing just before the photo was taken. Local archives contained a report of Private Henry Dubois, a young French volunteer believed to have been killed during a nighttime raid near the village. No body was ever found, and his disappearance was shrouded in mystery. When the silhouette in the photograph was compared to known images of Dubois, the resemblance was uncanny. The shape of his helmet, the curve of his posture, even the faint outline of his uniform. It seemed impossible, yet the evidence pointed to one haunting possibility, that the camera had captured not just the living soldiers, but the lingering presence of a comrade lost to war, a ghost forever etched in time. An elderly villager, Marcel, who lived near the ruins where the photo was taken, shared an eerie story that added a chilling layer to the mystery. Marcel recalled hearing strange noises during the war, footsteps in empty streets, whispered voices carried by the wind, and fleeting glimpses of a lone figure wandering the battlefield at dusk. He described the figure as translucent, almost glowing in the moonlight, silently watching the soldiers but never interacting with them. Marcel's tale matched the photograph's background perfectly, as if confirming the presence of something beyond the physical world. His voice trembled as he recounted these memories, conveying a mixture of fear, reverence, and sorrow. For him and others, the ghostly outline was not just a photograph's curiosity, but a real, lingering spirit tied to their shared history. This ghostly figure stands as a haunting symbol of war's unseen costs, the souls lost and stories left untold. While battles are fought with weapons and strategy, the emotional and spiritual toll often remains hidden, carried quietly by survivors and memories. The outline in the photo reminds us that history is not just dates and facts, but lived experiences that haunt the present. It speaks to the idea that even in moments of brief calm, war's shadows persist, shaping lives long after the guns fall silent. As the photograph's mystery endures, it challenges us to remember not only the victories and losses, but the enduring human spirit that lingers in the silence between. Beyond the chilling stories and historical records, the emotional weight carried by the photograph and its ghostly outline resonates deeply with descendants of the soldiers and locals alike. Families who had long mourned missing relatives found a strange comfort in the idea that their loved ones might still be watching over those they fought beside. Veterans who survived the war often spoke of unseen companions during the darkest hours, silent protectors or reminders of those lost. The photograph, with its mysterious figure, became more than a visual mystery. It transformed into a symbol of remembrance and unresolved grief. It highlighted how war leaves invisible scars, binding people to memories and places in ways that defy explanation. In the end, the ghostly outline in the background of the 1944 photograph stands as a poignant reminder of the countless lives affected by war, many of which remain hidden beneath the surface of history. It challenges viewers to see beyond what is immediately visible, to acknowledge the spirits, memories, and emotions etched into every battlefield, every ruined village. While the truth behind the apparition may never be fully known, its presence evokes reflection on the fragility of life and the enduring impact of conflict. This haunting image encourages us to honor not only the soldiers in the foreground, but also the silent, unseen stories that linger in the shadows of war. This photograph from 1944 is much more than just a frozen moment in time. It is a window into the complex layers of history, memory, and emotion. While on the surface it shows soldiers at rest, a simple break in the chaos of war, it also reveals something far deeper: the unseen presence of the past lingering in the background. Photographs have the unique power to capture not only physical reality but also intangible echoes, moments of fear, loss, hope, and sometimes mystery. This particular image reminds us that every photograph holds stories waiting to be uncovered, stories that might challenge what we think we know or reveal secrets long buried beneath the surface. The ghostly outline in this wartime image invites endless questions. Is it truly a spirit, a lingering soul caught between worlds, unable or unwilling to move on? Or is it a memory, an imprint left behind by the horrors endured in that place? Could it be a warning, a silent guardian reminding us of the cost of conflict and the lives forever changed? The photograph offers no clear answers, leaving the mystery suspended in time. This uncertainty is part of its haunting power. It forces us to confront the unknown and consider that some histories are not just written in books or archives but exist in the shadows, visible only to those who dare to look closely. History is full of hidden stories, of moments overlooked or forgotten, until something unexpected brings them back to light. This photograph is one such example. A quiet image transformed into a chilling enigma by the faint figure lurking behind the soldiers. It serves as a reminder that the past is never truly gone. Even in moments of peace, the shadows of war stretch long and deep, touching everything in their path. The line between the living and the dead, the seen and unseen, can blur, especially where trauma has taken root. By paying attention to these stories, we honor those who lived them and acknowledge the complex legacy left behind by war. As we close this chapter on the photograph and its ghostly outline, the image remains a powerful symbol of war's enduring impact. It calls on us to remember that history is not only what happened on the surface but also the hidden layers beneath, the emotions, spirits, and memories that haunt the places and people involved. This photograph may never fully reveal its secrets, but its silent presence encourages us to look beyond what is visible, to listen for the stories whispered in the ruins, and to never forget the human cost of conflict. What truly lurks in the shadows of that 1944 moment? Perhaps that question will remain unanswered, a lingering mystery that continues to captivate and unsettle all who encounter it.